Hello and welcome to DCG Transporters. Just a quick short to show you our thoughts on buying vans. We always get asked, and this is the most important thing you can check for. So I'm just sitting in the back of this really lovely T5.1. So I do have a soft spot for them. T5.1s I do think is my absolute favourite, and maybe even the peak of reliability on these vans as well. So I do really like the 5.1. That said, obviously they are getting a little bit older now. So like I said, the most critical thing to check for, condition. So this is a really, really good example of a cracking van. Irrespective of what the mileage says on the counter, this is super clean. I don't think it's done a hard day's work in its life. And what I mean by that is, this has not been a trade van. This has been privately owned right from the beginning by somebody who cared. And that, I think, is the absolute critical thing. Let me show you through a few bits and bobs why I think this is a super van. Okay, so we have got the seat out on this just to show you it a little bit easier, but you can see this with the seat in. Now, under here, the little flap where the wiring comes through from the factory normally is a really good indication of what a hard life this van may have had, and it really hasn't. It's super clean. It's echoed by the floor as well. Now, when we sometimes pull the floor up, we pull the seats up, we run the looms, we do what we need to do to get access and make some good wiring. Underneath here can be not rotten, but just disgusting. And you'll know what I mean if you've taken a van apart, you've got under this point and you've gone like, oh my God, what the hell? We have seen all sorts under these seats, as you'd probably well expect, from, you know, really wet conditions to absolute horrible sticky sweets, weird construction debris and leftover bits and bobs. But this is super clean. Everywhere we've looked on this van has just been a pleasure. It's just lovely. And like I said, for a 2014 van now, this is in super condition. We've already started with it. We've done some insulation. We started with the carpet lining. We've got some blinds going in there. We're about to pull the combi seat brackets off. And yeah, we're going to start putting the flooring in and doing our little bits of magic. But what a great base van. And it just goes to show you that it's more about the condition than what it is the actual mileage. Mileage is irrelevant. It could have had 50,000 miles on this van and been absolutely wrecked by whoever had previously owned it, or you know, it could have over 100,000 miles and be as tidy as what it is. It's just about how it's been looked after, and that is the critical thing. And I think this one's a peach. Really, really nice. And like I said, haven't found anything in it so far that would indicate that it's had a hard life. What a lovely van. So yeah, condition critical. So like I've always said, it's irrelevant, isn't it, that figure that's on the dashboard. This van's done over 100,000 miles, but it doesn't look it. You know, it's so important to just take that number into consideration. Of course, you know, it will determine its value and desirability to a degree. But if you're looking for the long term and you're going to keep the van for a little while, don't get caught up with those numbers. You know, we've seen vans that have had really low mileage and look like they've been to the moon and back. You know, you're looking at the plastics, you're looking at all the switch gear that's on here. You know, how does it look? How does it feel? You know, does it feel like a sloppy? Does it feel like you know, it's not making a really good contact? Is it a good indicator of what the actual figures say on the dashboard? If you've got a horrific amount of wear, but the van only says it's done 20,000 miles, something's not right, is it? So, you know, we've seen these examples where they look like they've had a little bit of a hiccup, you know, before they've had their first MOT, and they've continued to do so throughout its life. And what actually might be an indicator on the dashboard that it's done sub 100,000 miles, in reality, it might have done a lot more. And it's difficult to see. There is ways of checking all through the BCMs, that each one will record the hours that it's been operating. So if you check through each BCM, you can work it out to see if the mileage is true or roughly right. You know, you can only get an indicator from those. But if it's out, it's normally out by a lot. And that's a really good sign that it has had a haircut. Unfortunately, with the way we're going with modern servicing and stuff and extended services that are only every 2 years, it's not going to the garage very often. And because we don't have its first MOT for three years, that's when the vans are the most vulnerable. It's that first 3 year period. You could have a company that does 20 to 30,000 miles a year, purchase the van, and then they'll get 3 years use out of it before its first MOT, give it a haircut, and what should have been a 90,000 mile van might now go down to 45, half that, you know, especially if the history hasn't been done by a main dealer and it has no record. It's very easy to lose. So it's really important, and I can't drum this home enough, buy on condition. So thanks for watching. Please do subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up if you think that was helpful. And we'll see you in the next video. Take care.